All right, so today we're going to learn a little bit more about some of the snakes that I didn't put in my tour of the Houston Zoo Reptile House. Let's say we get started. Alright, so first we have the monocled cobra. These guys are endemic to Southeast Asia. I mean, places like India, China, Vietnam, so on and so forth. Anyway, these guys are awesome. As you may well know. They are called the monocled cobra for the little circle on the back of their head resembling a monocle. They have neurotoxic venom, which can act as quickly as an hour. And when I say act, I mean you won't be acting anymore, if you know what I mean. That's right, it can be pretty vicious. Do not get bit by a monocled cobra is the general moral of the story, I guess. These guys are known to grow between like 4 and 5 feet, although they can be found up to 7 feet, as it were. They can be found in a variety of areas such as rice fields, forests, human inhabitation, which is not a very good thing. Or at least it's not very good if you find it before, or it finds you before you find, I don't know. It's not a good thing if you get bitten, as we discussed. Now, speaking of getting bitten, what about the potency of that neurotoxic venom? Well, that actually varies depending on what locale they are. Now, some of the symptoms you could expect if you get a little nip from this fellow would be anything from necrosis, rotting, paralysis, including paralysis of the lungs, therefore, respiratory system, no breathing, not so good. Also, even cardiac arrest. Once again, don't get bitten by a monocled cobra. And next. Alright, so up next we have an awesome snake known as the Dumeral's boa. Honestly, maybe, I would say it's my favorite ground-dwelling boa. I mean, there's so many boas, it's so hard to choose, right? But these guys come from Madagascar. And, there are a lot of awesome animals in Madagascar, including many other awesome boas, including in the trees, which actually, they have some really awesome tree boas there. If you want to look into it, I'm not even going to name them. How about you look it up? You look it up, huh? Alright, so it may not surprise you to learn that they have a great feeding response, which, most boas do, really. I mean, most of the ones I've had experience with, so when it comes feeding time, be careful, and when it comes to handling time, make sure they know it's not feeding time. Other than that, these guys grow up from between about 4 to 6 feet, which is an awesome size. Not too big, not too small, just right. All right, so what do you say we switch this up a little bit and get an amphibian on the list? This guy is the Bornean eared frog. Now, in the wild, I honestly don't know a lot about these guys. I know that in captivity, they make a great beginner's frog. They grow between 3 and 4 inches-ish. Not exactly, but around. So that makes them a pretty good size. They live generally around 5 years, but even up to 8 years. So, that's not bad, It's not a huge commitment, but then again, you do get to hang out with your pal for a while, so that's awesome. And just make sure that you don't mind a loud call, because they do have one. The Mexican jumping viper is what we have up next. Now, this guy is awesome. They hail from Central America. There are actually several different subspecies of Mexican jumping viper, and you would say, well, what about this one? Honestly, I actually have to say I don't know. I don't know the locale. I don't know where it's from, so I'm not 100% sure. Sorry, guys. But all the same, why, pray tell, do we call it a Mexican jumping viper? And let me tell you why. These guys, when they strike, can spring up so hard they can come off the dang ground. That's why they're called a Mexican jumping viper. Known to be somewhat reactive, so, you know, don't try to touch. Now, they do have a hemotoxic venom, much like the copperhead, and much like the copperhead, they have a rather mild bite when it comes to, you know, venomous snakes, that is, or pit vipers in general. Now, they may only grow to 2 feet, but they make up for it with plenty of spunk, you know. Next, last but certainly not least, we have the Timor python. Now, these guys hail from Southeast Asia, you know, like all kinds of awesome reptiles and amphibians. Why not? Now, they are known for their nervous behavior, somewhat bitey. However, much like anything else, if you did want to, you know, get one of these guys and bring them home for you to be your own little baby and to love him and take care of him, you just have to spend time. And, you know, I mean, not every individual will tame out, but it is possible. So, you know, that's always good. And they are beautiful snakes. Let me just say that again. Beautiful snakes. They are going to be a bit pricey if you do want to bring one into your home. Talking about upwards of between like $1,000, $2,000, somewhere in there, maybe a higher. Within time, probably much higher once we get lots of captive bred specimens in the hobby. These guys feed on things like rodents, birds, and frogs, other little reptiles, you know. So they do like a little varied diet like that. I do recommend giving them a varied diet if you can, if you do have them in your home, and if not, have an awesome trip to Southeast Asia to see the guys. I would love to go with you. Now, these guys do grow between 5 and 8 feet, and again, like, I just really love that size. You know, 5 to 8 feet. I mean, even between 5 and 6 feet, 5 to 8 feet. You know, awesome, because they're big enough to handle and to be impressive and all that and blah blah blah. And you're like, what? Impressive is an accessory? No, it's just you know, obviously having a visually impressive snake is it's fun. It's fun when you just look over there and you're like, my God, I can't believe I have the honor of facilitating this beautiful animal's life. Anyhow,